Sharon Filial with Urban Media Arts. With me today is State Representative for 35th Middlesex District, Mr. Paul Donato. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for being here, Sharon. I really appreciate it. You're so bubbly and everything else. I'm hoping that I give you the right answers to the wrong questions you asked.
I hope so. So it was interesting. We were just talking before we started recording. So this morning, Governor Healy just signed the 2024 Commonwealth budget.
Yes,
What are your
56
feelings about that?
Well, I'm all excited because $56.2 million is the budget, but part of that budget is a number of things that have been done for the 35th Middlesex District, and I'm proud of working with my colleagues both on the in Medford and in Malden in the amounts of earmarks that we were able to produce to help our communities. One of them was $100,000 for the Chevalier Theater. Chevalier Theater is a wonderful, wonderful place.
Yes, it is.
And we've now, because we're partnering with the Wilbur Theater, we've been able to bring many venues in. And the facility is owned by the city of Medford. And naturally, it was our old high school auditorium. And, it has to be refurbished. And we've been doing that for the past 30 years. And we're just making it so exciting that people now come to the city of Medford to see various shows. We just had Jay Leno there last week, and he sold out a crowd of 1,800 seats because the theater is the third largest in New England.
I didn't realize that there is so much history in Medford and also Malden. And not to get too off track, but before we started recording, you mentioned that Medford was part of the Underground Railroad. If you could just briefly expand on that for our viewers.
Yeah, Medford was part of the Underground Railroad. We had what right now is called the Universalist Unitarian Church, but at the Unitarian Church, the parishioners of that church were in the front of getting the African Americans who were slaves who were running away and brought them here to the city of Medford, and then brought them to the opportunity to get to Canada so that they could be free. It's interesting because a great number of them stayed here in the city of Medford and established themselves, and they were a vital part of the community, as they are still today. Yes. Many of the older African American families are still a part of our community and very, very important.
That is simply amazing, and I have to wonder. I wonder if Harriet Tubman made a few stops in West Medford. I'm sure she did on the way to Canada.
Well, I hope she did. I wasn't around at that time, so I know some of my constituents might say, "Oh, I think he signed the Magna Carta."
No. You're a youngster. And recently you just secured $675,000 in funding for Medford, and part of that $50,000 went to the West Medford Community Center.
That's correct. The West Medford Community Center has been struggling in the past years without the great deal of funds that it used to get, and consequently that $50,000 gives the opportunity, thanks to Representative Garbely, who represents that part of the district, to get that as an executive director, and had proven to be enormously tremendous because now the West Medford Community Center spreads out not only for West Medford, but throughout the entire community.
Right, and it's funding like this that not only helps West Medford, but when West Medford or parts of Medford are funded, it helps the entire community. Yeah. It really does. And also there was $100,000 of that $675,000 allocated for housing for families. Yeah. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, the Housing Families Program, as you can see today, even with the new immigrants that are coming in, the undocumented immigrants who are coming, are struggling to find places to live, things to do. And the Housing Family Program does a tremendous job. They're in Malden on Eastern Ave, and they do a tremendous job of accommodating those who are seeking some kind of housing opportunities. They have 3 shelters. Temporary shelters, and what they attempt to do is bring them to the temporary shelter, house them there for a certain period of time while they are trying to get them into a Section 8 program or into a program with the RAF, the Rental Assistance Program, to get them into to real housing.
Right, and I took a brief perusal of the governor's budget, the line items, and part of that is funding for a large amount of money, funding for housing, which is a really important issue, as we see in other parts of the United States where immigrants are coming in and they have no place to go.
You see, today the governor has established an emergency, asking the federal government to intervene because it is a very difficult time for the immigrants who are here. 5,600 of them right now in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts that we're housing and attempting to get as much opportunity to find them as many venues for housing as we can. And it's becoming more and more difficult as more and more of immigrants start to come in and hopefully take advantage of what Massachusetts has to offer.
Yes, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, in my opinion, has done so much in terms of health insurance, of really trying to take care of its residents. What are your hopes for Governor Healy's newly signed budget? I mean, everyone participated, but what are your hopes for the future for Medford?
Well, again, the earmarks that I've put in, one of them, I'm very proud of some of the earmarks that I've established because they are the ones that are directly benefiting the residents of the city of Medford. I put $100,000 in for the Portal to Hope program. Portal to Hope is a program that I've been working with for the last 23 years, and I'm there, if you will, the biggest benefactor in the budget to provide them with the funds. As you know, domestic violence is a serious, serious problem, particularly when during COVID, when people weren't working and when people are struggling, they have a tendency to act out and create problems. And the Portal to Hope program run by Debbie Fallon has been a tremendous asset. And we work out of the City of Medford Police Department and the Lawrence Memorial Hospital. And the program watches over those who are affected by domestic violence, finding them into the court system and helping them navigate the difficulties in the bureaucracy of the court. And then giving them safe haven, getting them a phone, right, finding them a place to stay outside of the area so that those who are perpetrating the domestic violence can't find them. So that's another one of the great programs that I have that I think is that, you sit back and you look at it and say, my gosh, what are we doing? The other one is McDonald Park. And thanks to Representative Christine Barber, McDonald Park is a beautiful area named after our Congressman Toby McDonald, and it's right there at Wellington, and the benefits along the Mystic River are just absolutely incredible. You can walk your dog, you can walk your cat, or you can walk yourself.
If cats walk,
yeah,
right?
and
you can walk a cat.
And you can walk yourself, and we have many people who take advantage of the park. And all our parks, I put in $100,000 to put in for more trees in the city of Medford. And,
you're not going to have any money left.
Well, those are the kind of things that I think that those of us who are in government, particularly in the legislature, want to do is to provide dollars that directly benefit the community and directly benefit those who are living in the community. That's the important thing.
That is so great. And let me ask you this. You have such a tremendous passion for giving back and helping your constituents and being very giving. What started you on this path? When you were a little boy, was there anyone that you looked up to and said, I'd like to be in public office one day?
Well, it's an interesting thing because I grew up in the projects in Mission Hill in Roxbury. And I saw firsthand because in the Mission Hill projects, as those who go back 70 years would know, basically it was an African American or those veterans who were just coming out from the Second World War, and these were housing projects that were built to really accommodate the veterans. And so I saw what was going on in the community. I went to the James P. Timothy, so my playmates, my friends were, most of them were African American, and saw the difficulties that were going on in the world. And I said, you know, I want to have an opportunity to work with people who I can give back to. My mom and dad were not well, and consequently, I ended up in foster care, and that strengthened me even more, knowing that you know, here I am as a foster child, and sometimes people would look at it and say, you know, can that person go anywhere because, you know, it doesn't have a stable home or anything else. And that motivated me more to say, I'm going to see if I can make myself into something. I got involved by going to a school committee meeting and expressing my concern relative to the high school that was being proposed. I felt that it should stay in the Medford Square area. The school committee people were more interested in expanding the school and going out into the area where the school is now. But while I was there making the speech, or at least trying to, the school committee person said, "If you think this job is so easy, why don't you run for it?"
That's what did it?
And that's what did it.
That's how you caught the bug.
That's how I caught the bug. So I went to the school committee. I ran for the school committee, and then I ran for the city council. Then I was fortunate enough to be selected as the mayor of the city of Medford for 6 years, 3 terms. And then when the state representative decided to retire, I decided that maybe this was another opportunity for me to grow, but more important, to continue the passion that I had for the people of Medford and the work that I wanted to see happen.
And so essentially, you took what most would consider a very daunting set of circumstances, and you used it for good. What advice would you give to a young person who maybe feels hopeless and they feel maybe downtrodden? What one piece of advice would you say to help them on their journey?
I have in my office a saying by Teddy Roosevelt. I won't read the whole thing, but in essence, what he's saying is, don't be afraid to lose, because you'll come back in the great twilight of that loss. You'll come back in a shining way to succeed.
Wow, and you know, Teddy Roosevelt and you did pretty well, so I think that's pretty good advice.
We have the same birthday.
That is amazing. State Rep Donato, thank you so much. I could talk to you forever. It is so much fun talking to you. He has all the best stories. But we at Urban Media Arts, thank you for taking time with us.
Thank you.
And we have to have a part 2.
Okay, we're going to have a part 2, and the part 2 is going to be, we're going to also talk about Malden, because I represent Malden as well, and I'm so thrilled about the parts that I represent in Malden and working with both Kate Liberbeck Garabedian and my friend Steve Altrino. Yes. We do so much, and we brought in $875,000 to Malden. One of the shining achievements that I hope to have is that I was able to secure the old courthouse in Malden. Yes. And the mayor has designated that as going to be the Cultural Arts Center, and you're going to be housed in that particular site.
And a little trivia, they filmed part of the Boston Strangler in the courthouse.
I knew that, yeah.
Yeah, so if you watch the Boston Strangler, look out for that courthouse shot in there.
We're hoping that the courthouse is exactly going to be what the mayor and those in the Cultural Arts Program envision, an opportunity for the arts, the people who are involved in the arts programs to do that, and for UMA to get in there and have a permanent home. And the wonderful thing about it is, if you want to start looking at the people who are in the arts and doing all of the creative things, you don't have to go that far. You can just go down to one of the rooms, and there they are.
That sounds great. Well, again, thank you so much for taking time with us. This has been so much fun, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and good luck. Zach, okay.
Urban Media Arts.